Middle-aged guys don't buy sports cars because they are having a midlife crisis. It's because they can finally afford the car they want. I think it's considered a crisis when they abandon their current situation or family and make purchases not within their means, which puts them in further financial strife. I would think that's more of a crisis situation. A man in panic mode because life is not going as he envisioned it to be. But if a man finally can purchase a Toyota Supra because he's worked hard or been fortunate enough to buy one, then that's a dream come true. Good on him. I've liked cars since I was a kid. From being interested in their mechanical know-how to their exterior design. But I've never bought a car that I really liked. And now that I can afford to buy a used M3 with all the expenses that come after the initial purchase, I'm having second thoughts because now I'm thinking that it may be best to wait a couple of years and save for a Model Y, or maybe do neither and do responsible thing of buying a used Corolla instead. The older you get, the less comfortable Porsches get. PSH. Not if you get the 14-way sports seats. They're actually quite comfortable, not a midlife crisis. Can finally afford dream car. Also, no kids and dual income triple slashes. Bark style. This is 100% correct. I'm a massive performance car enthusiast and I've had the privilege of owning some great cars in my life. But the only way I've done it is by making incredibly stupid financial decisions. So correct, I thought everyone knew that. Same. I thought that was just one of those things that happens in movies, but not in real life. Or maybe it's an older generation thing. Or a regional thing. I guess around here we see a bro truck and think the driver is overcompensating for something. But if we see an older guy in an awesome car, we just think awesome car. I thought this exact thing today. I saw a nice Mustang and said, man, wish I could afford that. But even if I saved, I have two little ones that need a sizable backseat to put them in. By the time I have money and they are on their own, I'll be 47. Midlife if I buy that car I want then. I have often lived with compromise vehicles. Had a Saab 92X Aero, but it was an automatic since I got it from a relative who didn't like to shift. Had the slickest shifting manual 6-speed ever and a chassis carved from granite in a Mazda CX-5. Had no horsepower and couldn't out accelerate my couch. Now I own an Infiniti FX45, which is fast, rare, and fun. Still no manual, but my wife can drive it and my daughter's car seat fits in the back. So I'm saving for the car I want so I can shift for myself and not worry about practicality. Someday you'll get your Mustang and you will grin every time you match the gas. And it will make me happy knowing another enthusiast got their dream car. I'm a 16-year-old who currently has a car, and I have recently begun saving up to make my dream come true and get a Mustang. I know it's not gonna be a new fancy S550 series, but I know what I can afford and I have always wanted one. I think it's preposterous that people think that someone's everyday driver has to be uber practical. I'll fine with spending a little extra money on gas and insurance if it means I can drive my dream car. Also, I wish people stopped calling car enthusiasts macro penises or compensators. I just like cars, as simple as that. Wear condoms, little dude. If not, your dreams have to wait 20 years. LMAO. Me and my girlfriend are long distance anyways, so I don't have to worry about that LMAO. But yeah, I only need to save about 2-3k more and then I can get one. I work at Safeway for $13.10 per hour, so I can get it pretty fast for a teenager. I grew up poor as S, where having meat twice a week was a luxury. You goddamn know, when I bought my Mustang the only thought in my head was I can buy this because I can. It's a lovely car. I enjoy driving it. But it's more of a reminder that despite where I came from, I made it. Heck, yes, even more satisfying. As a car enthusiast who has a 4-year-old and 1-year-old, this is so fucking true. Kids will be much more independent in 10 years. And my career will be solid and fairly advanced, meaning extra money and not needing extra seats all the time. I've already planned it out. Edit. Lol, people taking this way too seriously. 2-seat cars are wonderful when you don't need to worry about where a baby will sit. Yeah. Sold mine when the first baby came around. It hurts my soul to this day that my dad sold his Datsun 240Z because they couldn't fit my car seat in it. That's what roof racks are for. Never thought about this, but that's a very good point. Thus I'm not sure whether to upvote this or downvote it. In this sub you are expected to upvote only the popular opinions. If someone dares to actually post an unpopular opinion, we downvote them into submission. This is sadly very true. This helped me realize some of my judgmental tendencies I wasn't aware of. Thank you. I need to work on not jumping to conclusions about people so much. Hey, same here. My father built a Shelby Cobra kit car as his midlife crisis, and it destroyed my parents' marriage. It doesn't apply to every man buying a car in his middle age, but it's definitely a stereotype for a reason. Edit. It is a damn beautiful and thrilling car, as much as I dislike the circumstances of its creation. Love this man. I agree 110% because it's true. I'm personally not a car guy, but I know the appeal of cars to people. Depends. Some dudes have finally got to a financial point that they can do what they want. Some have an existential crisis and try to recapture their youth. Yeah. Nothing about this post really contradicts the idea that many middle-aged men who buy sports cars actually are having a midlife crisis. Not all of them are, but that doesn't mean it's not a common symptom of a midlife crisis. It's super annoying you can't afford one until you don't look as badder in one, but oh well. I'm a 46-year-old woman who'd love a Mercedes at some point. Older AMGs from the early 2000s are remarkably cheap and reliable. And you have the benefit of looking like you're driving some wafty Luxo cruiser until you blow the doors off that Porsche next to you. Agreed. But the parts are not cheap. Too true. But websites like eEuroparts can have some great deals. And a little wrench turning in the garage can go a long way to lowering those costs significantly. Absolutely. I'm just salty cause I had a 2005 7 Series. And everything was so damn expensive. $2,000 for one of its 70 plus computers, $1,800 for one air shock, etc. Loved that thing though. Kept up with Porsches, Ferraris, and everything else on the road. I honestly agree with this. I've dreamed of being in a car I can be really proud of since I was just a wee lad. People criticized me when I got my current vehicle. It's a 2016 Hyundai Sonata Limited. It's not the nicest thing on comparison to others, but I'm still below 30 and that was what I could afford. It gives me great joy. If you like it and are happy driving it, then congrats. Part of being a car enthusiast is not judging other people's car enthusiasm. So glad you get to drive something that gives you joy. Was reading a couple of days ago, The Rational Male, Preventive Medicine. It literally explains why we are looked down and why it's not a midlife crisis. Most people don't buy the things they want until they are middle-aged. It's when you generally have the money to buy big ticket items. You won't see teens or people in their 20s run around in expensive cars, clothes etc. unless they have family money. I agree. I always hear people say that older guys buy Porsches because they're having a midlife crisis. Who the hell do you know that could afford a Porsche when they were younger? I had die-cast models of Porsches, which I can assure you were not a suitable substitute for the real thing. Hell, even a toy car can be pretty if it's rare enough lol. As a middle-aged man who wishes he could own a dream car, but has a minivan and family sedan cause my kids are still young, whenever I see an older guy or guy my age in a great car I usually think nice, you made it, enjoy that s brother. Someday. One day. Dude. At least minivans drive better than they used to. They are not so awful to own. And they are safe. My in-laws have had several. And they handle really well. It's a town and country, it's actually a really nice riding vehicle to drive the family in. I honestly love the thing. We went from CA to Mount and back. Even drove it on some old logging roads in Mount. Kid seats recline, so you don't have to worry about them flopping around or hurting their necks when they fall asleep. Plus Blu-ray player and DVD with earphones, so they can watch 2 different movies and wife and I can still jam out with road tunes. I also coach soccer and track, so I can load my kids and grandparents to the games in the van and still have room for all the gear. Seats stow underneath with a push of a button. All I have to do is put the headrests down and then they are gone. I call it the family truckster. We just need a dead Aunt Edna on the roof racks. Dang. You should sell these things. Now I want one.